Well, Tom, again, I really appreciate you coming over. I mean, gosh, a trip all the way across the country just to see us and visit the plant, and I really appreciate you coming.
Hey, it's an honor and privilege to represent HECS and finally get out here.
Absolutely.
See what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, Oregon's just such a beautiful place, and yeah, it's a long way from Florida, but that's okay.
Yeah, you know, like I said, we're on the good side of the state over here anyway. So, well, you know, I wanted to, take just a little bit of time. I mean, I don't have truly iconic bow hunters here all the time, so I thought it'd be a good time just to kind of talk bow hunting, kind of talk. I mean, gosh, you've traveled all over the world. You were telling me about, some of the ones that you're going to kind of complete some of your goals. So, would you like to share that with us? Because I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, bow hunting's different things to different people, and some guys are always just going to hunt whitetails at home. Or if you live out west, you may like elk hunting or mule deer hunting, maybe black bear hunting. I was a trapper. I grew up trapping, and as a trapper, you're going to trap muskrat, you're going to trap raccoons, you're going to trap mink and fox and coyote and beaver, otter. There's so many different species. And so when I started doing bow hunting, I mean, I was really into the species, the different kinds of animals. And when I got on ESPN in 1992, I was doing a show called the Outdoor Adventure Magazine.
Yeah, I remember that. I was a lot younger then. You were too, though.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, it was hunting, fishing, and adventure each week, and we did really well with that show. But ESPN kind of gave me the moniker of the crazy bow hunter who would do anything once. That's what they always used to say. You're the crazy bow hunter, because you'll do rock climbing, skydiving, flying planes, all these different things. And when I finally got through the series of that show over the 6 years it was on, and started doing just more and more bow hunting, they started calling me the adventure bow hunter, and that's where I got that.
So that's where that stuck. Yeah, that makes sense.
From.
Yeah, it fits.
They called me the adventure bow hunter, and so the reality was I enjoyed going somewhere I'd never been and hunting an animal that I'd never seen. And it started in Africa, of course, where most guys go, and one thing led to another, and started doing North America. Early in my career, Chuck Adams was actually a guest on my show several times. And so I had heard about the Super Slam, talking with him at dinner and pre-production and some of the things that we were doing for TV. And I realized in those days that there was no way I'd ever get it, because it just seemed like an impossible reach. But for any bow hunter who really has the desire to go out there and hunt and see new things, going after a Super 10 or Super 25 or Super Slam, is really adventure bow hunting. Because you're going to all four corners of, the North American continent to hunt those animals. And, I ended up going to Australia, New Zealand, and Europe eventually, and Asia, and it's a lot of traveling, everywhere. A lot of new things.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, some of the places that you go, I mean, just from somebody, I mean, I've got to travel a lot. I'm fortunate as well, but I mean, you're talking about those places that end in stand and things like that, and it's like, holy cow, what's that all about? So a different kind of adventure, even beyond the hunt a little bit, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I mean, when you've done it for so many years and been to so many places, you start running out of those individual species. I mean, there's a lot of animals to hunt, but when you're going after those goals, you're in particularly, a lot of guys will say, oh, you're just ticking a box, you're just ticking a box. It's that species and that species. And in a way, that's true, but in another way, it's about the cultures, and it's about the people, and it's about the area. And where a lot of people might go to France and want to go to Paris and see the Louvre and travel, to maybe see the vineyards and wine country, I'm in the Pyrenees.
Exactly.
I want to hunt chamois in the Pyrenees, or chamois in the Alps, or roe deer. So there's, I've got to see a lot of the world that not a lot of people get to see, because they go to the tourist destinations, and I go to the wilderness.
You go to the good places. Yeah, that's what I think too. So, no, I mean, it's like I said, following you all these years, on TV, and then we had a mutual friend that kind of introduced us, is Zach Grobler, and I know a lot of people know Zach from your show because he's in. That's where I met him too. I actually hunted on the Shalante Game Reserve, you know, back in 2009, and it's even before it was the Tom Miranda bow camp. But of course, you and Zach were working together even then. And I got to tell you, that place, I've been to Africa 3 times. I still haven't been to a place as good as that. And I'm hopefully we'll go back one of these days. And so, but I mean, the thing is, you've got, you know, you got kind of introduced to HECS a little bit, I think, through Zach and all that. And you know, I mean, tell me what you think. I mean, is it what we said it was?
HECS is amazing because it's something that most bow hunters don't think about. I mean, the reality is when you get busted by an animal, almost the first thing that comes to anybody's mind is movement or scent. They were either busted moving or they were busted because the wind changed or the animal smelled them. But that's not always true, because sometimes you can have perfect wind and not move and they still know you're there. And how do they know you're there? Well, everybody says it's a sixth sense. It's like, well, they've got this sixth sense. Well, they do.
They absolutely truly do.
They do have a sixth sense, but it's that electrical field. It's that field that you're giving off. And people say, well, a human doesn't give off an electrical field, but hey, if you get sick and you have a heart attack, they're going to put electric and try to start you back up.
Absolutely.
And when your nerves, your leg twitches or you pinch a nerve, and it's like that's electricity in your body. So there is definitely an electrical field in you that these animals sense.
Yeah, no, there was no doubt. I mean, as living beings, we are electrical. I mean, from head to toe. So, you know, it's like I said, it's a new concept to a lot of people. I mean, we've been around 11 years, so it kind of doesn't seem like a new concept. And, you know, gosh, I've been studying it for a lot longer than that. But, you know, I mean, it's so gratifying for me to be able to, you know, get, you know, people that I looked up to in the industry as a young man and, you know, growing up the way I did. And, I mean, to get our product on somebody like you, and that you say, yeah, you know, this stuff really works, that means a ton to me. It really does. And, you know, for those of you that may not know, Tom is probably one of the most loyal, as far as products go, he's probably one of the most loyal people that you'll ever see. I mean, he's not one of these guys that, you know, I mean, how long you been shooting Matthews? I mean,
since 2002.
Yeah. You know, I mean, all of his sponsors are, you know, long-term, you know, it's not a short-term deal. And, you know, people should respect that if they never thought about it. It really is an important thing is, you know, having products that you trust, because you don't want to change. And so, like I said, it was a big deal for us when you came on board and you know, an official manner. You know, it really was. So it's really cool to see you out there chasing all this stuff, and half the stuff I've never heard of. You know, and so it's just so cool. So like I said, your next goals. You still got a couple of goals you were telling me about, and I think that's interesting.
You know, there's a lot of different goals somebody can go after. And when I finished my Super Slam of North American Animals, the Safari Club asked if they could look at my trophy room and see what species I had and get some scores and measure some of the animals in my room. And they came and measured, and they found that I needed 36 species to complete what was called the World Hunting Award, which is basically an SCI, where they have slams and inner circles.
Right.
An SCI, you had to do, at the time, you had to do 13 slams and 15 inner circles to get the World Hunting Award ring. And I needed 36 more species. Well, the Super Slam's 29. And I think the World Hunting Award species, I think, is like 90 or something like that. It's like 90 species you need. So 29 seems like a lot. It took me 13 years to do the slam.
Yeah.
You started at 36 more species to it, but I ended up finishing that in 2016. And SCI has another award, which is the final award, which is their Hunting and Conservation Award. And so I'm trying to finish that. I need 4 more animals to finish that. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, when you look at the Grand Slam of sheep and the Super Slam, they have what's called the Triple Slam, which includes the Capra World Slam and the Ovis World Slam.
Right.
Now, the Ovis World Slam is 12 sheep of the world. The Capra World Slam is 12 goats. I have 10 of the 12 goats, but I only have 6 of the 12 sheep. So I need 2 goats and 6 sheep. So there's 8 animals and 4 animals for the SCI. So if I can if I can get those 12 species, I'm pretty much at the tip top of what you
Yeah,
can do.
I mean, we were talking last night. I think there's only one bow hunter that's ever done that.
Archie Nesbitt,
Yeah, that's Archie, and Archie's absolutely legendary.
Yeah,
and
he is.
and you know, I think I mean, if I was, I wouldn't bet against you. I really wouldn't. You know, so it's you've already came so far. I mean, with that many species, it's a lifelong. Obviously, it's a lifelong goal and
Lifetime milestones,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's just an incredible accomplishment already.
What I enjoy about it too is that, you know, a guy as a whitetail hunter can get, you know, if you've shot 60 whitetails from a tree stand, you probably got your act together when it comes to hunting whitetails out of a tree stand. Climb down out of that tree stand and try to stalk up on a caribou or try to stalk up on an elk.
Whole different,
you know,
whole different
you better
deal.
do a couple of caribou hunts before you try an elk, unless you're a real good caller,
Yeah,
you know, or
yeah.
want to hunt a wallow.
Yeah, exactly.
And so there's a lot of different types of hunting out there, and then when you start moving from North America to other parts of the world, you learn a lot about hunting and a lot about the wind and thermals and all the different things that go into being a good hunter.
Well, and every species has their own idiosyncrasies too. So, I mean, trying to learn, you know, my thing's elk. Obviously, I love hunting elk is my thing, and I grew up with it, and you know, it's kind of my backyard animal. But I mean, you know, it took a long time just to learn all the little idiosyncrasies of what you do in a situation. If an elk does this, if he calls a certain way, what are you going to do? Are you going to call at him? Are you going to stalk in? Are you going to, you know, what's he doing? So I can only imagine trying to learn all that stuff in the limited amount of time that you get to spend with those animals.
And you know, I go with a lot of guides and outfitters. I'm a television producer, so people look at me and think, oh, Tom Miranda, he's a professional hunter. No, I mean, I'm a television producer. You know, I go out to make a show about what it's like to do that hunt, what it's like to be in those areas. And so that's why I like fresh places. And the guides that I go with, I mean, there's the star of the show. They're teaching me. I've learned from everybody that I ever talked to about bow hunting. Every guide I've ever been with, I've learned something.
Yeah,
and it really gives you a wide base and a good education on all types of hunting. From using dogs, you know, when you hunt a polar bear, you use the sled dogs.
Right.
You know, and it's just part of how it's done.
Yeah,
and it's a learning experience.
I'll bet it is. Well, and the other thing that I don't think Archie can brag about this one, you've done everything on film.
Yeah, that's
everything.
Pretty crazy. Yeah.
So, I mean, the entire 29 on film plus pretty much everything. I mean, since 1990, you've been doing this stuff on video, and I know you and I talked about the some of the issues you have to deal with, as you know, if you're trying to get it on film and get it killed at the same time, and it's a whole nother wheel on the cart. It
Absolutely.
Really is.
Well, you know, with the cameraman, they're in charge.
Yeah.
You know, we may use a guide to get to a certain position or spot an animal, and then all of a sudden it's just me and the cameraman as we slip closer and we try to get in position. But the cameraman has to have it on, you know, the record light needs to be on, has to be in focus. It's got to have the animal in the frame.
Yep.
Because we want to see the arrow hit. I mean, that's what it's all about, the arrow impact. And if you can get the hunter and the animal and the arrow impact in the same frame, I mean, that's a home run. That's what you really want.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the holy grail that everybody's after that. And but I mean, I know I could tell you some heartbreaking stories about animals that I didn't get to shoot because the camera wasn't in the right place.
Me too.
And it's one of those things. I mean, you're either gonna you're gonna hunt on camera or you're gonna kill stuff, and sometimes it don't work the same way. So you just pass those things, and it's hard to do. I mean, I've passed some animals that dwarf anything in this room.
Oh yeah.
Because you know the camera wasn't quite right, or you know, I mean, because if the camera guy's saying no, you don't pull the trigger, you know. And I can't tell you how many times I've had the sight pin settled hard and the finger on the trigger, and he's come on, and it steps out, and you just don't get shot. So
it's twice as much movement. I mean, and I consider the camera a third person. So the reality is, it's me, the cameraman, and the camera. So, you know, because the camera has to see everything.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can hide the camera behind a bush. You know, the one thing that I've learned in all this video work is that the human eye is amazing, because you can get behind a bush and you can still focus on the animal and watch it. Try doing that with a camera.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It's not so easy, and the audience doesn't get the same feel. So you got to get that camera above the bush. Well, as soon as that camera comes above the bush, that's the third man. They're going to see it. They're going to wonder what it is. You've got to look for the sun glaring in the lens. There's a lot of different things going on. And of course, lately, last 6 years now, I've started filming on my own. So I went to trying to get the hunts captured as a cameraman and hunter at the same time, and that is really difficult.
That's tough. I mean, I've done a little bit of that myself, and it is just, I mean, the stars have to align. They just do. And, you know, so, I mean, that, you know, versus anybody else really out there, really. I mean, there's a lot of guys shooting video and stuff like that. There's nobody alive right now that's got as many adventure species that you do on film. And it's just an incredible, especially after doing my own hunts and filming. And it's just, it makes everything, you know. Everybody says, is it twice as hard? I say, no, I think it's about 5 or 6 times harder most of the time.
I say 10 times.
Probably right. You're probably right. So, but I mean, that makes it, but you know what? It's a lot more gratifying. I enjoy hunting with a camera behind me because I always tell everybody, well, as long as my camera guy's good, we never miss, because we always get something, you know, even if it's the big trophy that was out of range or whatever, you still got to come home with something. And the other thing, and we talked about this, is how much we learn from watching our own video, because what the mind sees in the heat of the moment is almost never correct. You know, and you watch that video and, you know, in your mind's eye, man, that shot was perfect. And you look at the video and go, it might have been a little back, you know, or something like that.
A little bit,
yeah, exactly. And a lot of times, I mean, that animal will move, and when you're a shooter, you're concentrated on a spot, and when that bow breaks, you're not really watching what the animal's doing, and so many times they move, you know, while the arrow's in flight. I mean, it's just amazing, you know, the speed and agility that they have, and you know, there's just so much that goes into bow hunting anyway, that being able to do it that way is really gratifying. But again, we learn a lot from that stuff. So I feel like I've learned from my own film. I've learned a lot about myself and a lot about where to aim. You know, there's certain species that you don't aim dead in the middle of the lungs, because you're going to hit them in the top of the back every time if you do it. You know, especially the African stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
right up the front leg.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people watch my shots and they're like, "You hit too far forward," but you know, you've got that golden triangle area. You know that. If you can keep up in there, you're going to have a lot more heart shots or aortas cut, or, you know, things that put them down pretty quick. I mean, sometimes a heart shot animal will run farther than a good double lunger.
Oh, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
At the same token, you kind of get into your, like I'm an older guy, so I've been doing it a long time. So you kind of get set in your ways. You know, you got your own style, you got what you do. I mean, I like a good old pair of boots that's broke in. I don't want to really wear a new pair too often, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's true for a lot of guys that hunt. But if I could give anybody any advice, try HECS. You know, it's something new, but it's not new. It's been around. It's been proven. It does work. It's not a hoax. And I think it will make a bow hunter's hunt much more effective, because they'll have much more latitude with the game. You know, you don't realize what these animals can pick up on until you put that suit on.
They're surviving out there. We don't have to do that anymore. We used to, maybe in the old days. We're not out there. I mean, yeah, we survived the elements, but we have a lot of things in our favor. We have the best clothing, we have the best tools, and, you know, I mean, those animals are out there every day surviving, and they use everything that they possibly can to help them do that. And so all HECS it's not an invisibility suit or anything like that. It's a tool, just like anything else. It's a tool that in a lot of situations will make a difference. Sometimes it makes the difference, you know. But like I said, it's one of those things that if people use it, you maybe not see something every single time you're out, but there's going to be a time before very long that you see something that you've never seen before. And after 11 years of hearing from bow hunters and, well, all kind of hunters all across the country, it's just you know, if somebody's like, well, you know, I don't really know if it works, and, you know, and I'll say, well, give us some time, and invariably you'll come back with, I had a bird land on my hat, you know, or, you know, I had a squirrel in the tree right beside me that's not barking. I've never seen that. You know, I had deer all around me for an hour, you know, just things that you just don't see all the time. And so that stuff happen once in a while? Yeah, but a lot of people say crazy stuff happens when you wear HECS, and it really kind of does. You know, it's a neat technology, and I hope everybody tries it too, you know, obviously. But again, I just thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. You've been a guest in my house. I hope you've enjoyed that. And you know, we're gonna go barbecue some steaks and have a good dinner here pretty soon.
Good.
So, all right, man.
All right, thanks,
I appreciate it very much. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
If you're a bow hunter, you know there's nothing more exciting than getting to full draw with big game animals in range. Hi everybody, I'm Tom Miranda, and I want to talk to you a little bit about HECS, HECS, an acronym that stands for Human Energy Concealment System. Now I know what you're thinking. Here comes the sales pitch. But believe me, this isn't a pitch, because this stuff works. There's a million options out there, from scent sprays to carbon suits, ozone machines to cover scents, and everything in between. And they all say they're going to improve your bow hunting success. But I'm here to tell you that HECS is different. HECS really does improve your success. HECS is an interlocking grid of highly conductive carbon yarn that is woven into a comfortable base layer or camouflage outer layer suit. This conductive grid blocks the electrical field that your body emits. Now, likely you didn't know that your body emits an electrical field. Before I discovered HECS, I didn't know. But think about it. When a human heart stops, a doctor or EMT uses electric shock to restart it. Nerves and muscles send electrical signals to your spine and brain. It's a fact that the body emits an electronic field, and a fact that animals can detect it. We've all experienced an animal's sixth sense, that innate ability to feel the presence of others or somehow know there's imminent danger. Big game animals have keen noses, keen hearing, and vision, and they also can easily detect these electrical fields. Now, I know this may sound like hocus pocus to some who have not yet tried HECS, but technology is constantly coming up with new and innovative products. Take my iPhone, for example. I have no idea how it works. And I don't know exactly how HECS advanced technology works either, but it works because I've witnessed it.
Look at that.
If you've followed my bow hunting career, you know that I've completed the North American Super Slam on video.
It's the dream of a
and
lifetime
Safari
to
Club
get the Grand
International's
Slam.
World Hunting Award ring. And I can tell you without reservation that when you wear HECS, it does something. If the animal doesn't catch your wind, it pretty much ignores you. But you don't have to believe me. Take the HECS StealthScreen Challenge and see for yourself. HECS, Human Energy Concealment System. Yes, this stuff really works.